Yo, what's good? It's Mastermind MMA. Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast, said he wants to fucking fight Francis Ngannu. Now, this has been talked about before, but a lot of people were kind of shutting this shit down because they're like, all right, why would the UFC want to knock out two of their top contenders in a very stagnant division? When you think about it, the heavyweights that are around now are the same heavyweights that have been around. The top five hasn't changed that much. Top 10 hasn't changed really at all. Um, yeah, man. And Derrick Lewis, all right, straight up, I'm about to say shit now. I'm about to link this shit up below in the motherfucking description. 1 year ago, when Derrick Lewis wasn't really that big on anyone's radar, he was kind of on the come up. I made a video where it was the Junior Dos Santos Ben Rothwell card, and I was like, "Yo, I feel like Derrick Lewis is gonna come up. He's gonna come up in the upper echelon, and he's gonna be the new like exciting blood in the heavyweight division." And it's kind of crazy that that shit happened, and it's kind of crazy that that shit is documented. That I kind of call that shit. I'm not trying to be like egotistical or anything. I just think it's kind of dope. But yeah, man. He said he wants to fight Francis Ngannou. I've heard fucking uh like people try to relate Francis to Czech Congo, and they want to see Francis against Kane. Kane is high level. Is Francis ready for Kane? Are they ready to see? Or are they ready to send him off to the races now? I remember people were talking about, all right, Yair and Frankie. The UFC doesn't know what they're doing. The new UFC is fucking up. I don't believe that, man. I feel like in the case of Yair and Frankie, the UFC saw Yair Rodriguez. They saw a young star. They fed him BJ Penn. He did exactly what he's supposed to do. That was the name builder fight for him. He got a legend on his name, on his fucking resume. And then they're like, all right, man, we could give you a Ricardo Lamas. We could give you a Korean Zombie. But we're going to give you Frankie Edgar. Because if you could beat Frankie Edgar, you are potentially the next John Jones. You are potentially the next biggest Mexican star that we have been waiting for. My bad about that, if you heard that sound. Yeah, man. They wanted to see because they sent John Jones off to the races, man. Shogun in his prime dismantled him. Champion after champion after champion after champion. Dismantled him. Real deal. Real when it's the real motherfucking deal, you don't have to know what you're doing at all because you could feed them anybody. But when you're trying to build a star, you could argue that, but nah. They try to do that with Yair. Yair's not there yet. Frankie is extremely high level. Frankie entered the pound for pound list. I did a video on that. Fucking without even being a champ. So Frankie Edgar truly is a pound for pound fighter. I said this before, I'm gonna say it again. Because he fought and he won the belt at lightweight when he walked around 157. He cut 2 pounds against imagine like look at him and a Benson Henderson. So respect to him for doing that shit. Yeah, but I strayed way far off from what I'm supposed to be talking about. Derrick Lewis and Francis Ngannou. I think Derrick Lewis, shit, man. After Mark Hunt, you could get a title shot. I don't know why you're trying to line up Ngannou. Is that true? Is that not true? Yeah, but is Ngannou gonna be your way to the title? Because it's kind of a formulaic thing when you think about it. You hit the top 10. You either kind of smoke someone under like in the top 15 coming into top 10 or other top 10, and then they feed you a top 5 guy. Once they feed you a top 5 that guy, it depends on the climate of the fucking division. You either fight another top tier guy, a contender fight, or you could just get the title shot. And it depends on who did what recently. You know what I mean? When you look at Robert Whitaker, that's someone who at the fucking point in the Brunson fight, when he's in that position, if you said he was getting the interim title shot in 213, it would be like, are you serious? Like that kind of come out of left field for a lot of people, especially when he said he did it via knocking Jacare the fuck out after Jacare had his back. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. And why would he go at Ngannou now? Because I feel like that's something they could build. That if Francis goes through Kane, he's the real motherfucking deal. If Derrick Lewis goes through Mark Hunt, we know he's legit as shit. Let one of them get the scrap, man. Let one of them get Stipe. Obviously, the UFC is really backing Francis. Derrick Lewis is really organic. He's got his own following because of his personality and his fighting style. He knocks people out and he's funny as shit. So you can't go wrong with that. He said he had to take. We remember. Oh, hold on, my bad. You remember when he said he had to take a shit with Travis Brown? Travis Brown really broke his ribs. So he's a funny ass laid back guy. I like him. Who do I think would win in that, man? I can't call that now. I got to see more out of Francis. I'm going to wait to see what I see out of Derrick with Mark Hunt. But, man, like, kind of how the UFC is backing Francis. I like Francis, too. Don't get me wrong. I kind of feel like I'm backing. What? You heard that, boy? My southern accent came out a little there. I'm fucking backing Derrick Lewis because he's been knocking motherfuckers out, and when you hit that hard, it's really and he's a resilient guy. It's not that hard to go that far in the division. Granted, he might be a little chinny. We got to see more because Matt Mitrione clipped him up rather fast. Within a minute, I believe. I could be wrong. So that's what I think about that. I'm not going to go too much or too deep into it if I haven't already because it's not a real thing yet if it picks up traction like Stipe Joshua, but this is a lot more likely. If it picks up traction, I'll talk a lot more analytically about it. You already know it's Mastermind MMA.